Another option that's going to be very similar to Microsoft Word is the Google Drive option. Google was kind of pioneering the online availability before Microsoft came back and kind of caught up to make their online Office programs available. So Google Drive, I'd say, still kind of wins in offering this for free. So you don't have to have a Whitewater address to be able to access this. Although if you do have access through Whitewater, just be aware that you would have to change that if you graduated. So you can have local files as well as the ones that are effectively kind of owned by the university. So I'm an employee of the university, so I sign in and all my files are part of my Whitewater domain. So a little peek into my drive here. I've got different folders for my courses, and I've already uploaded the document we're going to look at into this writing examples folder. If you wanted to add your own, you'd go over to the new button here, and then file upload is considered a new item here. It gives me the file extension. So this is a Word document, and maybe a little surprising these days is that you can basically edit a Word document inside of Google Drive. So we could have pretty much the same functionality as the Microsoft Online experience or the Microsoft Word desktop version. We could have all of that locally on Google Drive. But for practice, for some usability here, I would recommend getting some practice with converting your file formats. So while it's still a Word document, it has this little blue button here, .docx, so indicating that it's a Word document. But we can very easily go down here to the file menu and do save as Google Docs, and it's going to pull it over as a .gdocs document. If you stay online, you're not really going to notice too much about the file extensions or file size or anything like that. But if you did need to leave this experience and transfer the file to somebody else, the Google Drive aren't really files in the same way that the Microsoft files are. But you can very easily do that by going to File, Download, and it gives you a variety of formats, including Microsoft Word. So I would recommend, just if you're in the habit of doing some writing, I wouldn't go back and forth between these platforms very often. There's always a little bit of quirkiness with the compatibility. Formatting gets changed just a little bit. But if you did need to, say, write something in Google Docs and then submit it as a Word file to one of your courses, that would be a pretty viable option to just do that export one time. As long as you're just exporting, if the text is the most important thing you're exporting, it doesn't really matter so much about formatting. That's really where you get like images or fonts and things like that can be kind of weird for compatibility. Okay, so similar to what we saw before in the spelling suggestions, so far I think Google has been a little bit more on top of, a little more progressive about recognizing when something is a valid word, even though it's not a word in the English language. So it's not telling me these are misspelled names. Zettler and Piskin, they're not words I'm familiar with, but Google has the advantage of surfing the web and probably says that looks like something that's proper, and those are names that I've heard of. I did, interestingly, I was just kind of looking through and I saw this misspelling here that nobody seems to catch. So while you're going through and evaluating how effective these programs are, you might notice some things that nobody has found as a problem. So another possibility could be the seeds are not old enough to manage mycorrhizae. Now that's tricky because I don't even know what the author meant by this one, but here's maybe a good case for making a comment. When I highlight text, if you see on the right, it gives me some options here. I can give it a smiley face. But plus, here's a symbol for add a comment or suggest edits. Add a comment, we can say, I don't know what you meant here. And then same thing, you kind of have to click the button to make the comment effective. The version of tracked changes for Google Docs is up here in the upper right, where you switch from editing to suggesting. So if we take a suggestion, it's basically as we type, it's going to do the same thing that tracked changes did for the Microsoft Word document. Now we can change, delete some things. Go to a place we haven't seen yet. 5 years, only about in the future, comma, things like that. And then I guess one other kind of hidden in here, this is the spelling and grammar check if you wanted to just flow through. I suspect maybe the student used grammar check as they were preparing this document. So there's not really a lot that's standing out as grammar mistakes, but if you read through this document, you'll notice that there's definitely some issues with readability and maybe punctuation here and there. Okay, so I mentioned exporting. If you export this document as we've done, download it as a Word file, the suggestions from Google come through as tracked changes in Microsoft Word. So you basically get to the same endpoint starting in Word or starting in Google. And might take a while to open that, but let's see. Anyway, it's going to come through as track changes and the comments will still be there. So very compatible, intercompatible between the two programs. Up to you, your choice.